Hi, welcome everyone to the Phenomenal Google Hangout. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And today we have a special guest, Sarah Aderson of Mom in Chief Lounge. And I get a lot of questions from the single moms and the moms in general about how can they save money and really put themselves into a position where they can really achieve financial freedom and have kids. Because they tell me, like, Aisha, have to spend money on my kids. I have clothing expenses. I have school-related expenses. Everything that I do, I just can't seem to get ahead. So today, what I wanted to do is bring you a special guest who is an expert at this. She is a single mom, but yet she owns her own business. And she was able to figure it out so she did not have to put her life and her dreams on hold. So I got really excited. I got a little ahead of myself. So just for the people who are tuning in for the first time, I am Aisha Taylor, and I am the founder of FM Phenomenal. And what FM Phenomenal is we are a financial literacy and empowerment company that teaches women that their self-worth is not dependent on their financial worth. And so with that being said, you can have it all. You really just have to figure out what makes you happy, because many times people are unhappy and then they engage in retail therapy, but it makes them feel good for all of about 2 seconds, and then after that they're miserable again because they realize that they just spent their money, that they spent money that they did not have, and now they put themselves further in the hole. So what we are all about is finding true holistic happiness so you can have the life that you deserve, and you can have the life that is your really God-given gift. To really just be able to step boldly into this world authentically. And so, without further ado, I would like to introduce Sarah to you. So, Sarah, we met at the Get Radical conference, and it seems like forever
It
ago
does.
right now, but it's only been, a couple of months.
hmm
And you really are just such an amazing woman to me.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you're welcome. And honestly, like, the full disclosure, I don't have kids, but I am a daughter. So I understand the sacrifices that my parents had to go through in order to raise me and my two sisters. And it really breaks my heart to know that parents have to sacrifice a lot of their dreams and a lot of their inspirations, just to be able to raise kids. And now that my sisters and I are grown, I see my parents now. They are really living life according to their dreams, according to the things that they want to do. But I understand that they had to put that on hold in order to raise us. And I see what you're about, and I absolutely love it. It's like, parents, you don't have to sacrifice your dreams until your kids get older. You can have that now.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I love about you, because I wish that somebody told my parents that.
Yes. It's a
But
new day.
and I'm happy that they're able to really live out their dreams and enjoy their life now. But tell us what you do in your own words. How do you provide inspiration to single moms on a day-to-day basis to help them step into their purpose and really live a life with, as you like to say, inspired action?
Yes, absolutely. That is my favorite phrase, inspired action. So I work with, single moms, but I also work with, moms in general. My company is Expand Your Heart. So what I do is I empower women entrepreneurs to charge what they're worth, like you said. And so I do that by helping you turn your services into products. And that's, expand your heart. I have another part with Mom and Chief Lounge where, you're going to be a presenter on, so I'm excited about that.
Me too.
So with the Mom and Chief Lounge, that is specifically for single moms. So every week they can come and get free empowerment. Like I said, I'm all about action. So it does no good to watch a video or a webinar or listen to a call if you're not going to take action afterwards. So, I get phenomenal experts like yourself and so many other wonderful women to come on every week. It's only 30 minutes. It's free, right?
I love
MamaChiefLounge.com.
free.
We love free. And so right after that call, you get, juicy tips that you can act on.
I love it. So, what inspired you to do this? Tell us about your journey. What did you come to the realization of? Like, what was that turning point for you where you realized, I need to do this? I need to not only start my own business, but help other women who might be in similar situations to step into their own purpose.
Mhm.
And, like you said, charge with their worth and really become business owners and not sacrifice their dreams.
Well, so my process is probably similar to a lot of people, full of twists and turns and dips and dives and punches and bruises, not literally, thank goodness, but still, those figuratively ones can be just as hard, right? They can pack a mighty punch. So I was in corporate for a long time, and I went from like a hero to a zero very quickly, only because of management changes, and I was not happy. um, it was very stressful. But during that time, I had a prayer, right? And my prayer was to God to move me when He was ready. But when He moved me, I wanted it to be in my purpose because I knew where I was. I was there for a reason. Either I was there to learn something else or to teach something. I wasn't sure which one, but I was ready to go. But at the same time, I really wanted to make sure that my next step was not just another job. Like, it really needed to be my purpose. And at that time, my son was like a year and a half, and so I did not want to set that example for him of just punching the clock and just surviving. So I knew that I set out with the end in mind, what kind of mother I wanted to be. So I wanted to be the type of mother. I thought I would be married, but, and consistently, but that didn't work. So I wanted to be the mother that led by example. It was just very important for me to embody everything that I wanted him to be, not just to talk about it, but to show him. So I I did that. Like I said, my prayer was to walk in my purpose for the next step. And so after doing some soul searching and listening to his response, he gave me the Mama Chief Lounge. Like, I don't even take credit for it. That because I never would have thought of it at all. So it was an awesome opportunity. I wanted to find a way to give back. I thought at first maybe a nonprofit, but I was like, no, not really. Like, I don't have to be a nonprofit to give back. So the Mama Chief Lounge is a great blend of that because I meet great women like yourself that I'm able to connect with, and as far as networking and building relationships that way, and I can give back to other single moms because, again, my whole thing is that no matter what your situation is, it doesn't have to be a limitation.
Oh my God, you don't understand how many nuggets you just had in that few minutes. So number one, I have to work backwards because this
Okay.
last one was just so powerful. You said you don't have to essentially embrace your limitations.
Hmm.
Like, if you think about it, so many people say, well, I can't do this because of that, this. I can't do that because X, Y, and Z happened to me. But you have to understand that when you have that sort of attitude, you become a victim of your circumstances.
Absolutely. I don't even use the word can't. Like, that's not it. That's not in my vocabulary. I don't use can't. I don't let my son say can't because when you say it, you believe it. What you say, you believe. And I don't believe that I can't do. There's some things that I do not know how to do right now, but I can learn them. I can hire somebody to do them if I don't need to do them. I can read about it. I can research it. I can figure it out.
It's true. And if you're a child of God, there are no limitations for you.
No,
So
not at
really,
all.
when you say you can't do something, you're really challenging the power of God. You're saying, God, you're not really God. Like, you can't make
Right.
things happen.
Yeah.
And so, and that to me is insane, right?
Yeah.
And so we make choices every single day. We make choices to do something that moves us towards our purpose. And we make
Absolutely.
choices every day that moves us further away from our purpose. And when you use the word can't, you're moving yourself further away from your purpose. And that's a choice,
Mm-hmm.
either consciously or unconsciously. Um, and then one of the other things that you said is, God, I lost it. That
Uh-oh,
pant
it'll come
thing like
back.
really threw me for a loop because it was so phenomenal. I loved it. Um, so the other things is that you said that you wanted to do something to help other women do the same thing. Like you realized that you were given a gift.
Mhm.
And you said, I'm not just going to selfishly keep this gift. I'm going to help other women achieve their dreams as well, use their own gifts, find their own gifts.
Right.
And I think that that's just so important because when you are a giving person, you just unlock so much potential. You just unlock so much greatness, which
Yes,
is
and
really, which is
you
really
have to give first.
you do. And your story is so much like so many women. Like when you were
Mhm.
talking about your experience in corporate, I'm like, was she peeping through my window?
Yeah, no, but yeah, that's what I said. It started off. It's been like so many others, even my relationship, cheated on, like just, manipulation, some of those things. And I'm sure who hasn't been cheated on, right? So, yeah, like raise your hand because I want to meet you. What are you doing? Maybe you weren't or you didn't know about it, but anyway, so
But you know what?
it's
I
very
want
common.
And I wasn't even gonna go there, but you just said something, and I think that whoever is watching this, whoever will watch this after the recording is done, you might really be able to give a deliverance, give a deliverance to somebody. Like, how did you bounce back? Like, how did you not fall into that victim? Oh, woe is me! Like, my heart's been broken. Like, how were you able to keep going?
Um, Well, when I found out about the cheating and all that stuff, I had a choice. Like you mentioned, I could have stayed or left. And I knew if I stayed, that would have been death to me, like death on earth. That literally my soul would have died. So that wasn't an option. And I had a child. And remember, my goal was to be a positive example for him. So that's not what I wanted to show him, how to treat women or what women should do, as far as just putting aside their hopes and dreams. So um, that was my choice. So once I made that choice, I had to, I was definitely hurt, and everything I knew and thought existed was not true anymore. So the first thing was I forgave. So I say I forgave him first, but it starts with him first. But I forgave one thing first, and then something else would happen, so I have to forgive him again. And then, work at that. I was angry with God. I was like, what? I'm a good person. What happened? Like, like I thought we were cool, God, what's going on? And so I had to forgive God and realize that, again, this was part of my journey, and it wasn't punishment, right? Because my son was not punishment. He is a beautiful gift. So had to move past that. And then the last thing is I had to forgive myself because I really was blaming myself for picking this guy. I'm like, I mean, I took on a lot of the blame. Like, how could I be so stupid? I really beat myself up. And so I had to forgive myself. And the turning point for forgiving myself was to acknowledge that I made the best decisions that I could at the time with the information I had, because I didn't have all the information.
Hmm.
So,
So, okay, so I think that was excellent. Sorry, I just had to go there for a second. Because, if you are a woman, you have been cheated on at one point. So, that's definitely cool that you were able to share that with us. So, one of the questions that I have and is what are some of the difficulties that single moms face when they're trying to do something for themselves, like that sort of guilt, that
mhm.
mom guilt that people feel like, oh, I can't do this because I'm taking time away from my kids, etc. So, what are some of the things that you've encountered when you've been working with moms and single moms?
A lot, like you said, the guilt, right? They feel like, oh, that's selfish of me to take time for myself. And the stereotypes, the stigmatisms, everything in society, we play, oh, you're not a good mom if you're at the spa. Where's your kid? Well, your child is safe. You are a good mom as long as you know where your child is and they're safe and they're taken care of. You're a great mom if you take care of yourself so that you can give more to your child. Because, like I said, when I was at corporate, I wasn't happy for a while there, and all I would do was kind of go eat, sleep, and work. My child was young, when that happened, like less than a year, but still, that's the cycle that I was in for a while. Just eat, sleep, work, go back again. And my spirit was kind of just waning there. So, yeah, a lot of times that fear of being judged as a bad parent, a bad mom plays in. Just, all sorts of the blame, anger, guilt, and shame. That's the bags.
So that's awesome. So one of the things that just popped in my head when you were saying this was what Lisa Nichols always says, is that you have to serve from your overflow.
Yes.
Because if you don't serve from your overflow, you're not going to have anything left to give, because you're tapping from your reserve, and your reserve is what you need in order to just keep going on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you were probably taught this as well is that if you spend too much time or spend time with yourself, you spend time doing things for yourself, then you're said to be selfish. Mm-hmm. And so many of us grow up and we operate in life thinking that, oh, I can't take time out for myself. I can't say no, because if I say no, then I'm being selfish. I'm not being a giving person. But one of the things that I found in my own life is that if I don't take time to recharge my batteries, I cannot be there for other people the way I need to be there. So what would you say to people who are struggling with this concept right now?
Well, the first thing is to, like we said, accept the shadows, the light and the dark. So you are selfish, right? Just tough love right there. You're selfish. I'm selfish. It's okay. We need to be selfish so that we can balance out the giving. There's always a light and a dark, or I call it like a gray area. Not necessarily dark, but you have both. So be selfish, because there's nothing or anyone outside of you that can give you what you need. So if you're seeking a spouse, a partner, your job, your child, nobody can fulfill you but you.
That's true. That's so true. So let's get to the real, right?
Okay.
So you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you have a child, and you're a single mom. What are some tough things that you have to deal with in order to be able to do it all, to be that superwoman, for lack of a better word?
No cape. I hung my cape up a while ago. Say no cape, but one thing I have to have is a network. Oops. Sorry. I have to have a network, and I call it my family, right? I'm 6 hours away from my nearest relative, which is my mother. So my family is my friend. It consists of my friends, and these are people that started off as strangers. Some were, coworkers before. You have to have a network. I don't care if you're married, you're single, you have kids, or you don't have kids. Everyone needs a network. None of us were put here to go through this by ourselves. But with that said, you have to give as well. So I don't just take from my network, I give to my network too. So we help each other out. That's why I said it's like a family, probably better than a family because we chose each other. So that's really important. And then scheduling, right? I have to schedule, and then I have to be flexible, because sometimes I really do need to take a nap because it's been either I was up late or something was going on with my body. It just needs a break because I've been going. So I need to listen to my body and make that happen.
You said two very powerful things in there. Number one, listen to your body. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's such a little thing, but it's like our bodies tell us when we need rest.
Yes.
And it has a way of making us rest even when we don't want to.
Right. When you oversleep, you hit snooze, and you're like, oh, man. but you needed that extra 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
Or you get sick and then you
Yeah,
can't do
you
anything
don't.
for a couple of days, and it's just like, really, was that productivity worth not being able to do anything for like an
No.
entire weekend? So you said that, and then you also talked about the act of giving. So you're able to rely on your network because you fed into your network. You
Hmm.
poured into them. You were there when they needed you.
Absolutely.
So expand on that a little bit more in terms of like asking for something, but really pouring in and putting in those deposits to another person first before you ask.
Right. You give first. I mean, one example, one of my friends, she's a stay-at-home mom. So she had one child in school, but she had another child at home with her, and she was pregnant. So, whenever I had time available, I'm like, you have the third child. She's married, but still, I'm like, let me see what I can do. And so what I would do is I would go get her daughter, which is around the same age as my son, and just give her some time. Right? Just give her some time before this third child came where she could just do whatever, like not worry about kids, not worry about her husband. If she didn't do anything but sleep, that was fine. I took her child on play dates and gave her, as much time as I could give before the baby came. She didn't ask me to do that. I just thought, what would I want if I was expecting my third child and I had, all this going on? And that's what I would want somebody to do.
I mean, that's awesome because, like you said, you have to give to receive, and you just have to be considerate. And I remember a friend of mine posted a YouTube video. It was her YouTube video is called 1 Minute with Scarlett, and what she talked about is really looking for the free opportunities that you can give people, just to
Mm-hmm.
be able to continue to give and to continue to feed into other people. And one of the things is that she mentioned is that a lot of our inboxes are cluttered, and a lot of the stuff that we receive, we don't necessarily need ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but a simple act of forwarding an email
Right.
to someone else that might be interested in it. It just lets them know that you cared enough about them to say, hey, I'm not going to hit delete, which I could have easily done. I thought enough about you to say, hey, you might be able to benefit from this. And you took you took this concept a couple of steps further. You said, I'm going to take your kids
Mm-hmm.
so you can have time for yourself because when a newborn comes, you're not going to have any time.
Nope. And I only have one, so I can't even imagine three. So
I have zero. I can't imagine three.
it's mind-boggling. So yeah, whatever I could do to help, I was ready.
That's awesome. So, who what allows you to continue to push through when times are tough? Because I can imagine times get tough. You're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. Times do get tough. So how do you continue to push through? What are some of the things that you do?
Well, you have to stay focused. So I look at my vision board like religiously. I have to look at it because when the times are tough, you have to look forward. You can't look at what you see right now. And one of the things that really helps me is like I think of a tree, right? So a tree grows both ways. It grows up and it grows down. So some of those tough times are when I'm growing down. I'm digging more roots. And then I may want that fruit to appear a little faster, but it takes time. So I have to remember that. So I check myself when I get impatient that again, it's not about my time. There's another factor, which is divine timing involved, and that I remember that everything, whether it's good or not so good, that it's all going to work together for my good because now I'm walking, in my purpose. So I'm not just punching a clock or anything like that. I truly know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
You're so right because sometimes God puts us in difficult situations so that we're able to grow. Because I don't know if you can think back like to some of the times like what I found is that I've learned a lot during the good time,
Hmm.
but sometimes when the times were tough, that's when I really had to rely on God. It deepened my faith
Yeah.
just to be able to get through. And it really taught me a lot about who I was as a person and where I was at that point in time. And then now I look back at some of the tough times. It's like those were some of the largest growth experiences I've ever had.
Hmm.
And so a lot of people, they don't want the tough times because the tough times are hard. I'm not going to lie. But without the tough times, you're not going to be able to be moved into where you need to be. Because when you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Hmm.
Like if you think about a tree, like your tree example, the tree, I bet you that tree didn't have an easy time when it started
Hmm.
off as a seed pushing through the ground. That took some
Right.
tough time
That's
and took
some
some
work.
growing. But if you're gonna push through the ground, if you're gonna push through the soil, if you're gonna push through the rock, like it forces you to get stronger. Like the tree's roots are like some of the strongest things like made. And those things are made to push through solid stuff.
Right.
And so if you're going to grow, you have to be able to push through that solid stuff. So I love that analogy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, what are some daily practices that you do in order to keep you focused? I know you mentioned the vision board. Is there anything else?
Um, I have quiet time, very important. Just quiet time, where I'm talking or I'm listening to God or for guidance. But it's really important for me daily to have that quiet time. The other thing is to celebrate what I've done. It's so easy to pick yourself apart. So easy, I've been there, done that with beating myself up, like I shared. So now I have to schedule time to celebrate myself. If it's just whatever, I sent out or made a couple of sales calls. Maybe it wasn't, as many as I wanted it to be, but I made them, right? Or, even if it's, today I went to the water park with my son. So I need to celebrate that. He had a great time, right? So I wasn't working, but I had quality time with him. He was happy. The phone was down. So you really have to celebrate yourself and then keep focus on your goal. So that's why I have to look at the vision board and um, really have to do something every day, right, to move closer and closer towards my goal.
I love the celebrate part because one of the things that I always tell clients when I speak to them, whether they are private clients or whether they're people who are inquiring to work with me or whether they're just people who said, "Hey, Aisha, I love your blog. I love what you do." And they start telling me the things that they've done already to be able to help them move towards achieving their financial goals. And one of the first things that I always tell them is, okay, wait a second, stop. You're telling me everything that you're not doing.
Right.
But you know what I just heard? I heard number one, that you contacted me because you want to figure out how you can move on to the next step. Number one, having that recognition, realization that you need to move to that next step, that in and of itself just should be celebrated because so many people are in denial about where they are with respect to their finances. And
Yeah.
they don't even understand and they're too busy denying that they have a problem to say, hey, I need help. So the first step is admitting you need help, right?
Mhm.
And that alone should be celebrated. And then I'll talk to people and they're like, well, I signed up with mint.com. I'm like, that's amazing because if you're going to work with me on a one-on-one basis, you're required to sign up
Right.
for mint.com. So the fact that you've already done that, it should be celebrated. And then some other people have said just recently, like, hey, I know that when I'm in a bad mood, I always stop past the mall that's on my way to work. So instead of that, I try and figure out what I can do differently instead of stopping there. How can I
Hmm.
do something different? But, I have this issue, this. I'm like, well, wait a second. You're already starting to figure out what
That
you can do
awareness.
instead of stopping at that mall to spend money to make yourself feel better. So stop beating yourself up for the things that you don't have. You might not have an emergency fund. You might still have 5 credit cards. You might still have student loan debt. and you might still be running out of money 3 days before you get paid again. But the fact of the matter is, you recognize that you have a problem and you're already making the steps that you need in order to start to change your life. And you need to celebrate that because that is a big deal.
Huge.
So I'm just sorry. I'm just a huge fan of celebrating yourself, even if you don't think it's big. Because we as women, especially, we will stand in the mirror and
Mm-hmm.
say, we will pick ourselves apart.
Mm-hmm.
We will hold up a magazine cover to some airbrush celebrity
Right.
and then talk about why we're not perfect. Well, guess
They're
what?
not perfect.
They're not perfect. We haven't seen the unedited photos.
Mm-mm. You look way better than them, I promise.
Right. And so it's like we just need to really give ourselves a lot more credit. So, um, what are what are some words of wisdom that you would leave with the people who are listening to this hangout right now?
Um, well, just that the main thing is whatever you're going through, somebody else has already been there. So I know it seems like it's the end of the world, and I don't want to, diminish that in any way. However, you need to see yourself on the other side. And that, like I said, nothing is there to hurt you. Everything is only there to make you better, make you stronger, and to help you. So if you're a single mom, it's no accident that you're a single mom. You can handle that. That's why it was given to you. So don't act like a victim. Go ahead and step into it, own it, and move forward because no situation is a limitation. And you can do this. It's going to take a change in your thinking, a change in the way you talk to yourself, and a change in your actions. But day by day, slowly by slowly, you should be moving towards what you want to create. So if you want to be financially free, then stop saying you're broke. Because if you keep saying you're broke, you're going to stay broke.
So you just said something really powerful. It's the self-talk. So you just gave one example about talking about being broke. So what is one example of changing your thinking, changing your actions, and changing really what you say to yourself that you would tell the single moms and the moms who are listening to this call that will help them move closer to stepping into the purpose that they need to step into while still being great moms?
Okay, awesome. If that greater vision for your life is being financially free, being happy, which most of us want, right? We want the freedom that comes with the money. We also want to be happy. You want to be there for your children, then do that now. Because when the money comes, there's no if then, right? If I get this, then I'll be happy. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to be happy right now and where you are. So if you're in a one bedroom, be happy there because if you're not going to be happy in your mansion. So what you need to do is surround yourself with things that you like. Like, I mean, I remember when I first started in this spiritual journey, like when I was in corporate, I wasn't happy, like I said, and my favorite color is purple. But I didn't have purple anywhere in my house. But now, like I have my purple cup right here, like I always have something purple near me now because it makes me happy. If it's my fingernail polish, if it's this cup or something like that, like do what makes you happy in moderation, but make sure you always have something with you. Um, Even like your passwords. Don't make it like your kid's name. We love our children, yes, but that is not going to motivate you like you think it will. So put a word in there, like change your password to mogul, something successful, powerful, whatever it is, powerful one, put something in there. So every time you're typing, you're sending a message to your brain. I'm a powerful one or a powerful woman, whatever it is. But do something like that. You have to feed yourself daily. So feed your mind, feed your soul. Instead of listening to the latest radio station, get a podcast, download it, Listen to anything that stimulates you. Motivational, watch this again if you want to. Go to YouTube and check this out. But something every day you need to do. You need to add something to your life that makes you happy and that's going to move you forward. So those were a couple of examples.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, one more question before we start to wrap it up. So, what are two things, two action items that you would tell the women who are listening to this call right now that they need to go out and do immediately in order to put them on the right path in order to get to the place that they want to go?
Um, the first thing would be declutter. um, you can't receive anything new if you're still hanging on to the old. So that again is, figuratively and literally. So clean your house, clean your car, clean your closets, slow, one day at a time. Don't go super clean on me, but you need to start getting rid of the old. If you're holding on to old feelings, if you think you're going to get back with your ex, let that go. Um, there's a reason you're not together, so we want to move forward. So declutter everything. Start changing the way you declutter your mind. If you're thinking about negative things, then let that go. And the second thing is to act as if you already have everything you want. So if you knew that you couldn't fail, if you knew that everything was possible, what would you do? And take that inspired action. So if I knew I couldn't fail and I wanted to travel, if that's one of my goals, so maybe I can't fly, I can't buy an airline ticket right now, but I can go 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour outside of my city and go visit something new and make a day trip. So what would you do? Act as if you already have it. If you had the money, what would you do? You would travel. So there you go. Make a day trip with your child and do something fun. There's so many things you can do for free. Like, you just have to look for them. They're all there.
You're totally right. And if you're a person who's watching it and you live within driving distance of a water, like anywhere between like an hour or so away from water, just drive out to the lake, to the river, to the ocean, because just being able to be in the presence of water and looking at how calm the water is, how the water moves, and just being in there, it's very serene, it's very relaxing. And so that is something that you can do that's very low cost.
Yeah,
Um, Pack a picnic basket if you want, so you don't
exactly.
have to buy food once you get to wherever
Right.
you're going. But there are little things that you can do to take you out of that environment that allows you to declutter your mind and really move to a peaceful place so you can start to make that shift and picture yourself where you want to be. Like that actually, that's huge right there. So I definitely love that. So tell us about the gift that you have for the FM Phenomenal community.
Yes, because I love you guys. I love Aisha and I love her community. So I wanted to make sure I offered you guys, again, something that will help you to take inspired action. So I'm offering you a Build Your Empire breakthrough session. And, not just a business. Like, I'm not about creating businesses. Anybody can do that. I'm about creating an empire so that you can leave a legacy. So to do that, we want to get you online. So this call, it's a 1 hour call with me, and we're really going to go in deep and get to, what's holding you back as far as why you don't have an expanded presence online, and push forward to see what kind of legacy you want to leave, right? So a lot of times when you start a business, you don't think about that. So we're going to go in deep for an hour, and then I've added, especially for the FNP community, you're going to walk away with an action plan, right? So you're going to know like the next 3 steps that you need to take, because it is about inspired action. A call without action is a waste of time, and we don't want that. So you can go to expandyourheart, and everything's spelled out, .org/FNP. So F is in Frank, N is in Nancy, P is in phenomenal.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really like that. I'm really grateful for that wonderful, wonderful gift. I look forward to being on your podcast to share some nice little nuggets about breaking
Yes.
free of paycheck to paycheck living. I'm super, super excited about that.
Yay.
And I'm so grateful for your presence because you're so awesome. Like I'm just
Oh,
really excited that
thank you.
I should have said phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal.
You're
You're
so
phenomenal too. I'm a
phenomenal.
reflection of you, so.
Thank you, thank you. And I was really grateful that we were really able to connect and meet at the Get Radical conference. That conference was just so awesome. I met so many
Yes.
wonderful people out there, and I'm just so excited that we were able to really move from the introduction and
Hmm.
conversation to really figuring out collaboration just because when you have two people who are moving in the right direction and who have the right mindset, we like it just had the ability to change so many lives. And
Yes.
I'm a believer, you're a believer as well. And every day I ask God to teach me how to be more like you. How do I become a better reflection of you? And how do you use me to show your love to your kids?
Hmm.
And for me, it's all about building relationships and having me help other people and really working together to create an even bigger force. So at the end of the day, we just promote God's will because that's what we should do. At
That's
least
what
in
we're
my
here for.
opinion. That's what we're here for. That's what the Bible says. so,
Exactly.
so tell everyone how they can find you.
Sure. So expandyourheart.org. You can check me out there. The Mom and Chief Lounge dot, well, sorry, momandchieflounge.com. So know the every week we have, like I said, free weekly empowerment sessions. So you can visit me there. Facebook, Sarah Aderson 1. So you have to check the spelling of my name. And Twitter, it's SRADERSON, my last name. And of course, I have Facebook pages for Expand Your Heart and Mom and Chief Lounge. And you can find me on Google Plus. I'm pretty much all over.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. For everybody who is watching the video, please be sure to go to Sarah's website, expandyourheart.com slash,
Org.
slash org. I'm all turned around. Expandyourheart.org slash
Mhm.
FMP to be able to claim your free gift, which is a 1 hour Build Your Empire session with her. And again, thank you so much for watching. Be
Thank
sure in the
you.
comments of the video to let me know what your favorite part of the video was. And as always, this is your host, Aisha Taylor, founder of FM Phenomenal, where we teach women that their self worth is not dependent on their financial worth. And you can find me at fmphenomenal.com and as well as on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at FN Phenomenal. So I look forward to connecting with you guys soon. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.